I'll try to be serious, guys.
Quick second. Okay. Live? Alright. Wow, the camera's kind of bad today. Camera is kind of bad today. Sorry for so grainy today.
Maybe need some light, though.
Yeah, we might, actually. Josh, turn on that light over there.
But there be
That
light.
might make
Oh,
man,
yeah.
the light is right.
Oh, yeah.
it made it a little bit better.
Oh,
Sorry, this we're trying to make it so the camera doesn't look as grainy. Give me a quick second. I'm gonna close this curtain.
we're doing so well right now.
Why can't so doesn't look that great?
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, it's fine.
They understand.
Everything's fine.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
We do it live on this.
Yeah, we do it live.
Oh, see, now it's like
It looks like we're by the fireside.
now it's like a glare.
Oh, yeah.
No, trying to.
Hey, guys,
It's-
talk with Phil, By, and Paul.
It's kind of grainy. Sorry about that. It's okay. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the EitherOr podcast, where 1 week we discuss serious topics, and next week we discuss more comedic, fun-loving, and nerdy topics. I'm your host Phil B, here with my co-host Big Papa Paul, and my second co-host JDG over there, also known as Phil, Paul, and Josh.
Yeah, keep my name out of it, bro.
And today, that's legit gonna be your fucking catchphrase.
Yeah. It's going to be our first t-shirt when we decide to make them.
And today we're going to be discussing. Today's a serious week. First off, let me apologize for last week. We weren't all in attendance last week. Not all of us were. The three of us weren't all available. So I'd like to, when we do the podcast, that all of us are available at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, you know, it's a consistent kind of thing. I wouldn't like it to just be one or two when all three of us could be here. So sorry about last week. Last week was supposed to be a serious week, but instead, because of that, we're going to make this week a serious week. And the topic we're going to be discussing today is social anxiety. So first thing I guess we should talk about in terms of social anxiety is, what exactly is it? Now, do you want to define what social anxiety is?
I mean,
I have no idea what it is, man. I mean, I can
it's
go from the literal ways of looking at it. So it's like a fear, like an irrational fear of something coming in the future that's not really real, but you think it's real. And this is especially for the social situation.
That's pretty good definition. I think the literal definition is, once again, like an irrational fear or tension in terms of putting yourself in social situations and, you know, interacting with different people, especially people from just random strangers. Sometimes even with friends, you can get social anxiety. Now, this podcast is going to be a little close to home for me, especially because for me, I have pretty consistently bad social anxiety, and people that have met me that think I'm just really silent for no reason. It's not because I don't like talking to people. It's because I one of the things about social anxiety that people don't understand. Hold on, that people don't understand is that it's not always an irrational fear so much as you just get self-conscious and you keep trying to talk yourself out of it, and it's things of that nature where it's not so much that you're afraid of people. You're not afraid so much of people. You're afraid of interacting with people.
Yeah, it's my best way, kind of put it in a way. It's almost kind of thinking of all the things that could happen within the social situation in your head, and kind of just putting fear towards that one situation you don't want to happen, you know. And essentially, you're in a way, you're kind of overreacting inside your head about what's going on, because there's no guarantee what could happen can happen, but you know, it's a possibility, and it scares the shit out of you most of the time, you know. I mean, that's the best way I can put it.
And that's a perfect way to put it, because it's one of those I said it's pretty, and this is kind of like the levels of it. So I have it consistently. He has it like partially, and then Josh over there doesn't really have it at all. He just doesn't like talking to people.
People suck. It's all right.
But no, seriously, like we all have like varying levels. It's like basically full, half, and none.
Yeah.
And for me, like being somebody that has dealt with it my whole life, probably because it stems from like other things that I have dealt with in the past, things I'm not going to talk about, but still things that I've dealt with in the past that kind of like contribute to my kind of overreaction and my self doubt and me always thinking I'm bothering somebody because I want, like I said, I'd like to interact, but I always have this self doubt, like I'm probably bothering them. They're too busy for me. Maybe they do want to talk, but then I always talk myself out of it, like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just do it another day. And then that other day doesn't come because it's a constant cycle of you just kind of talking yourself out of it.
Yeah.
It can be a pain.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give your like a little side to it?
Oh, for me, I guess. Oh, for me, since I'm kind of more like half and half with social anxiety, it's kind of just more a way of like not necessarily like I've grown out of it, but just more just like me not caring how people react to an extent, and just I don't know. It's more just me just kind of just going with the flow and just whatever happens happens. It's like sure, there's certain situations where it's like oh, I probably don't want to talk to someone, where it's like or maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But it's like I don't know. I've kind of just gotten more bold in terms of like social interaction. I guess if you want to put it that way, at least that's from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So what emboldened you to get more into talking to people?
That is a good question. I'm honestly not that sure, really, to be honest with you.
Is it just the life experience of just talking to people? The years have weathered you into unfeeling stone.
I guess. I mean, it's like kind of just like it's kind of the thing to do. Talk to people. It's how you get things done.
Yeah, I totally get that, especially with those group assignments and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. If you really wanna get to one of the worst parts, it's one of the worst things about social anxiety, in my experience, especially group fucking projects.
Yeah, man.
Anytime you do a group project, like for a regular person, it's uncomfortable because they always assign you with somebody you don't really talk to, someone you don't really consider your friend. You're cordial with them, It's not you're not good or bad. They're a neutral character in your life.
Yeah.
For social anxiety, it's even worse because you have to work with people, but you also always have this oh god, what if I say the wrong thing?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna mess this up. Da 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 da. And it can get rough. It is always one of the roughest ass things to deal with.
Yeah.
Even one of the things that for me was probably one of the hardest things, and it's just for my enjoying people, is being a Kairos leader.
What?
Because I had to lead my group. One of my group members is here. What's up, Matt?
It's like you have to actually go up to them and talk to them and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's rough. I did mention that I'm the way I am because of past experiences, and those past experiences have molded me into being a way more kept in. I keep a close circle of friends, which a lot of people do, but it's also I would like more friends, but I also know because of my little, I guess, insecurities. I'll say insecurities that I just don't interact with more people. But it's a little. It can be jarring. There are days where it can be pretty jarring, especially going off to college and then there's classes where you could literally have the same people in 2 different classes, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 different classes, and then you have a whole class full of people where you know none of them.
Oh yeah.
And it's it's so distressing, I guess, for me, because it just like it's it's new, and it's not like a bad new. It's just new, and being the way I am, it's uncomfortable talking with these strangers, these people I don't really know, even if they're my classmates. So,
Oh, Phil, I got a question for you now.
give them the microphone.
So my question for you is, how did Kairos affect you in terms of the social aspects of your life?
It's a good question. We're gonna be doing this a little bit now because I forgot about this.
I was like, I'm just gonna let it slide. Anyway, go on.
But in terms of like social aspects, I guess it changed. It changed the way I view people because I know, like I said, I still was a very close, like I was still a very to myself person, and I still am. You know, I always gave people like first chances and second chances. You know, I always was one of those type that would like give people chances. But for me, I guess it gave me. I talk just a little bit more than I used to. Before Kairos, I didn't talk to anyone new. If someone talked to me, I'd like freak the fuck out. I'd be like, "Oh God, this person." Oh, it'd be like, "Oh God, this person's talking to me. What do I do? Oh God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" That's legit. These are some of the thoughts that go through my head. This person's talking to me. Maybe they need help on a question. Maybe they just want to say hey. Some people would just say hey and just be like, "Oh, what's up? Hi, how are you doing?" You know, there were some times where there are actually still a lot of times where like people want to like say what's up, and I'm just not expecting it, and I have to like break my guard immediately and just be like, "Hey," and I stutter. Like I stutter like a lot on first greetings with people, or like people that just like walk by and I'm like, "Hey," they're like, "Hey," and I'm just like, "Oh, what's up?" You know,
like shit, I stuttered.
I've gotten used to that. Um, but yeah, it is. It's Kairos did make it better. It did make it just a little bit easier because I had to realize that not every that like it gave it made me it made me way more confident in the fact that I did have it because I didn't really think I had it at first. And then the second thing was like I came to terms with it a little bit better. So it's like it doesn't it's still there are times when I get bummed out because I know I have this like anxiety deep down inside, but there are other times where it's like I can acknowledging that I have it I can kind of it helps me to break through it, I guess. So I get more confident and I talk to people more. So but yeah, yeah, it definitely helped, especially when I got my first job during college, because I one of the things I kind of had to do was like because I had been there longer than some other people. I whenever there was a new person, they would ask me to show them the ropes. I'm just like, yeah, sure, I got you. So yeah, it made it a little bit easier.
Passes back to Josh.
So it gave you some confidence and the time to reconcile. Hey, this is like a normal thing for you.
Yeah, sorry about this, you guys. This is gonna be a little rough. Just bear with us. But yeah, in terms of like reconciling with the fact that I had it, yeah, like I say, it made it a lot easier for me. Um, and I'm pretty sure like in my little 3 4 person family, we're all kind of a little socially anxious. My stepdad is nowhere near as bad as the rest of us, and my mom is. I don't think my mom's socially anxious. She just doesn't really talk much. My grandma isn't. I think I'm probably the only one. I'm probably the only one in the house that is. I could be wrong, you know. That I think mom told me she was, but I like I said I could be wrong. Excuse me. But yeah, in terms for me, like I said, it made dealing with it easier. It made dealing with some days where it was like I knew that I was going to be by myself. It made it a lot easier because, especially during like middle school and high, like the beginning of high school, it was hard because 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 especially in the beginning of high school, like there were barely any of like us from our middle school there, and
Yeah.
legit Josh was the only friend I had at Andrean at the time, because like I didn't talk to anybody. I was very loner. Like, there may have been some people that considered me my friend. It was just, for me, it was just like, I always thought, oh, I only have one friend because, he's the only guy I actually do know. Now I got Paul, I got Josh, I've got friends that will be juniors this year in college. I've got college friends now. I've got like a whole group of friends from college. So I mean, it hasn't been bad. It, like I said, there are some days where it's worse than others, but there are other days where it's like it's nowhere near as bad.
Any more questions, Josh?
Well, I don't so much have questions about it. I'm just kind of exploring, because for me, social anxiety is kind of an esoteric or esoteric, esoteric subject for me. It's one of the things I struggle with is empathy and understanding how people feel and caring about that. So I'm moving. Say I'm walking down the hallway and someone says hi to me. If I'm not running, I don't know. I may not. But so I realize my aloofness, I guess, gives the impression that I don't like people. I do like them. It's just I'm on my own missions. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, I guess moving forward with the social anxiety thing. Huh.
Every time I said, fine.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Paul, something from Josh. I'm only different times.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to say.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Phil. Silence is okay. It gives you the time to gather your thoughts and come up with an intelligent response.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got nothing right now.
All right, I guess I got the microphone now. And so you brought up a good topic, silence. Well, our main topic, social anxiety, but you brought up a good point about silence. Like I know, like I usually tend to be a very quiet person. It's like I don't know, like I don't know. For me, I guess like growing up an only child kind of like influenced like my quietness in a way because I kind of just like kept to myself for the most part.
Oh yeah, let's bring that up. All right, because that does you can leave Mike.
Yeah.
That does kind of have an effect on like your social interactions. I'm an only child with. I'm an only child that grew up with a single mother, and I have stepdad that's like there for me. I appreciate him. I call him old man. I love my stepdad. But growing up for like the first couple of years, it was mainly me and mom, and then of course my grandma. So for me, I also didn't have a father figure until I started reaching double digits. Like when I was like 9, 10, which when I really started to get that figure. And he was there for a while. Don't get me wrong, he was there, but it was like I didn't really start to get that until I kind of had a basic understanding of like social interaction and shit, And then friend Paul here, he has both of his parents around, so he has mom, he has dad, so there are things that both of them can teach him that make him a little bit better than me at it. But once again, we're both still only kids. So for him, like I said, that's probably why he has more half, and that's why I kind of have full. And then for Josh, he's not an only child, and he has both his parents. So he grew up in a family where you pretty much have to talk to everybody in the house.
More on that in a second.
And probably more on that in a second. But you get what I mean, though. Like you have a full house. You have a house of people. And granted, like I said, I do have a full house, but you have a brother and you have both your parents. I have my mom, my stepdad, and my grandma.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's like you're a lot more close knit,
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Messed up the camera. So, yeah. Here's how my family has impacted my social skills, I guess. Uh, I tend to think, because my parents, they were both working a lot when I was younger. So, uh, my main connection for affection was with my grandmother for a good chunk of my early life. But I wasn't really feeling that for whatever reason. And I don't know, like, so not feeling that. Like, when I was a baby, she tried to hold me and, like, punched her in the mouth with my cast. So, like, that wasn't really nice. Uh, it set the tone for, like, the rest of my interactions with people. It's like, oh, hey, oh, you're here. Great, now leave me alone. And I guess the only person I was really close with was with my brother. But Jonathan, he wanted his own space. He didn't want to be messed up with his little brother. So eventually I drifted off from him and I just started playing video games all the time. My dad, he worked all the time, so I barely saw him. My mom was doing whatever she was doing. Oh, yeah, I had them, but it wasn't so much that I was connected to them. So here's what happens there. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of talking to people, um, being around them, interacting with them. I'm not scared of it. I just suck at it.
Yeah, that's fair. And plus, it's probably also one of those things where it's like, yeah, I would like talking a little bit louder, but it's probably also one of those things where it's like because you kind of had your own space that when you said like you suck at talking to people, which if you suck, then I am fucking trash at it. But it's also one of those things where it's like because you kind of had a lot more of your own time, that's probably the time you value is your own, not so much other people's.
Oh yeah.
So I can see that. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely my experience completely. I was taught from a very young age, hey dude, grow a thick skin and be okay with yourself. I mean, if the kids over there don't want to play with you, it's okay. Go play by yourself, and you're cool with that. If that person doesn't want to mess with you, move on to someone else or keep it moving. No big deal, bruh. Just be cool with yourself first, and that's I think probably the foundation of like my person. It's knowing who you are and how you function in this life as a person. And that gives me a lot of stability when I'm talking to people because I know what I am here for in the conversation. I know why I am here. I don't know why you are here, nor do I care. Unless we're like working on a group assignment. So like going back to that actually, you put me in a group assignment. It's like not oh dang I have to talk to people. It's oh dang how are we gonna get this work done? Yeah. Who's doing what? How fast are we gonna get this done? Mm-hmm. Are you guys the chill type or the real strict type that has to control everything? Yeah. Mm. So usually in those situations, I find myself being the leader because half the time people don't understand what's going on, don't care what's going on, just want to do whatever they're gonna do. But I'm like good enough as a leader to get them to actually do something, so I don't like take the full brunt of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like it's one of those. It's like is it one of those leader things where it's like you lead, but you're not so much like you can lead people, but you don't really care how they feel. You just know how to lead them. Is it one of those things?
Well, leadership's a fun one. Okay, so when I'm leading someone, it's purely based on the fact that we have a mutual benefit in both of our success. So when it comes to just say we have a common objective in a group project, I say, hey, you and I both need to get this done. If we don't get this done, we both get an F. That's where I come from. But when it comes to a situation like say I'm a track captain, I track is an individual sport.
Yeah.
So if I see you slacking, I'm gonna call you out on it, but I'm not gonna do anything about it. That's you and that's your business. And I know in the end, it's gonna be about me and how I am performing on the team. Although that has come to bite me in the butt a couple of times.
Yeah, like in terms of the leadership thing, like for me, it kind of went off subject, but it still kind of stems from the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
it's tied in.
but leadership for me, it's really, it kind of sucks. My mom says I'm natural born, but I hate. I'm gonna be straight up. I hate being a fucking leader. I really do. I'm not. I always have self doubts. You know, I like to check. If I'm a leader, I'm gonna check in with everybody. Of course, I'm gonna do like what a leader should do. But then, like once that's done, I'm always like self. It's always doubt, like in my head. Like, am I doing this right? I'm probably not a good leader. You know, and it's still one of those things where it's like with that anxiety, it still kind of messes with your head. You know, like I can lead, but I'm perfectly content with just either being a follower or a loner, you know. And concern, like I've done many things by myself, you know. So I mean, yeah.
I don't know. For me, in terms of like being a leader, like my parents, especially like my dad, they always try to encourage me to be one. You know, it's like you're an only child, you're supposed to be like a leader or whatever. And it's like I wouldn't mind being a leader, just more of I just rather do my own thing in a way, you know. And it's like I guess whoever follows me is like me, that's fine. I just don't care as much about like what people think of me that much anymore, especially now. It's like I think like going back to like social anxiety as far as like I know like theater kind of like helped me to like get talking to more people and stuff like that and get people talking about me. It's like, hey, the quiet guy Paul's doing stuff now. I don't know. I think it's just pretty interesting how like I've changed over the years, you know.
Well, it sounds like you guys have sort of answered this already, but you mind clarifying how social anxiety has affected your leadership skills?
So, well, as stated, yeah, social anxiety really can affect leadership skills. For me, I always, especially when I have to lead like a pretty decently sized group, you know, like even a small group, you know, you have doubts. You have doubts that you're doing well at all. You have doubts that you're meeting the entire group's needs, but then you also have doubts about talking to the group because what if their needs are met? You know, it's one of those things where it's like it's constant like self consciousness and like self doubt and self deprecation. You know, and it's not entirely like and I've met people like I appreciate the comment, Matt, that like people are like you do good as a group leader, you know. But for me I always doubt it, you know. And it's not like I say it's never so much that don't it's never so much that I don't think I can be a good one, and like if I actually try hard enough I can be. But that also means I have to break my social anxiety like if I do that. And for me it's always been when people are like who wants to be a leader, I'm usually never the first one to raise my hand. If people like volunteer me, I'm like, make him the leader. I mean but for me it's like if I have to do it I will, but I'm perfectly content like following you know what people say or doing it on my own, you know. And like I said, and like being an only child also contributes to the loner type tendencies, you know, because only children do tend to keep to themselves a lot more than like people with siblings or anything like that. So I mean, it's like I said, with me being a leader, it's a mix of being an only child, social anxiety, and then me just like not having the desire to really be a leader. So for me, social anxiety plays the biggest part in that. But the other two factors still play a pretty big part in it.
Um, yeah, I know for me, like at least in terms of like a group work situation, like unless like I have a decent idea of what I'm doing, I'm probably like not gonna go in full effort and take charge. Really, it just kind of really just depends for me. It's like I don't know. Like if I know someone in my group who can do the work really well, then I'll kind of just let them do their own thing, not necessarily let them do all the work, but just like if they know what they're doing, I'm gonna let them do what they gotta do. And I don't know, like in terms of like taking charge, I guess like Phil said, like he's not really like kind of the person who would like gonna be the first to raise their hand, like to volunteer to be a leader. It's like I'm really not that kind of guy either. I'm just like, oh, it's whatever. I feel like for me, it's more just me being lazy. It's like I don't want to lead a group. It's like it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like putting up with that
Let's do
shit.
that.
It's like sure, get a little clout out of it. Maybe it's like yeah, I'm the leader of the group, but at the same time, it's like oh shit, it's a lot of work, and I'm just like I don't care for all this work. I just want to do my own thing. I don't care about all this other stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, just over here trying to live this chill life. I mean, like that leadership thing. That's just like harshing your mojo, bro.
Yeah.
It's just too much work, man. Um, well, yeah, I guess I've explained my leadership effects already. Um, so for you, you're just trying to go with the flow, Paul, and you, Phil, you are mainly okay. How can I describe it?
I'm on the back burner. Like if I'm needed, then I'll do it. Like if I'm absolutely needed, then I'll do it. One thing is though, there are a few times where I won't take charge. One, if I know someone's trying to do some, and this should be for most people. It's following your gut. And one of the things that I think I learned the most from being an only child is follow your fucking gut, like whenever possible. Like my grandma, always, all the time. Don't mess with those people that will fuck around and like do some stupid shit. That's when I will take charge. I take charge of myself though. I'm my own leader,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck that. And another time I will do it is when people. This is about as vulgar as you can get. When people are doing fuck shit.
Oh, you get rid of that though.
And for me, that's when people are fighting, like fist fighting or arguing, you know, I I can't stand for it at all. I think that's part of the me. My mom has always like described me. I've described myself as a peacekeeper, and that's I like I said I hate leading, but one of the things I will do is I won't let people fight. I don't like to let them fight. I no. It's one of the things I don't like to let people fight, and I don't like to leave people hanging. And sometimes you have to, but I don't like to. Um, and don't let people argue. Don't let friends fight, and then they just. That was one of the things. That was just something that was resolved a while ago. Um, but that it was long story short. There's some shit that happened. Friendship was almost broken. I was like, "Fuck that shit." YouTube, don't ask me for advice. You two figure this out on your own, and I will literally want you to figure this the fuck on your own, because the people you care about, you can't push them away like that. And for me, that's one of the few times where my social anxiety just fucking disappears. Is I when I witness somebody trying to like turn on their friends, people arguing, people fighting. I can't stand it. Now there's some fights and arguments you just don't get in the middle of. If it's a street fight, fuck that. I'm sorry. That's not my business.
You're not gonna pull out your guns and hit them with the Flex Candy gun show?
No, because they will pull out their guns and shoot me.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But no, like on a serious note though, like there are events where I know I can't really deal with that. There's some fights you can't win, you can't beat, so you just kind of gotta let it happen. Um, and like I said, sometimes you have to leave some people to do their own shit. I refuse to get in the middle of a fight where I don't know the people. I don't know if they have a weapon or not. You know, but that was something I grew up learning. But if it's like friends people I know that are rational thinking people, I will stop it because there is no reason for it. So like I said, there are some times when my social anxiety just kind of disappears.
So yeah, that brings up a pretty good point right there. It seems like in a charged emotional atmosphere, it seems like all of a sudden your social anxiety kind of disappears. Is that correct?
That's generally, yeah. Actually, that's 100% correct. But I think that's also because I get charged emotionally because of it. Because, like I said, there's certain things that I just don't fucking stand for. Like one of the things I know I will not stand for. One of the few things I grew up with a mom. Don't hit a woman. I won't punch you in the balls. And if it's a girl on girl fight, fuck it. I'll stay straight the fuck out of that. But if it is a man hitting a woman, or if you like beat the shit out of your spouse or girlfriend, and I find out, I'm coming to beat your ass because I don't know. I can't approve of that. You know, and like there are still situations where I can't take part of that, but I can at least fix it. Call if there's someone really abusive, someone that actually will hurt their significant other with a knife, a weapon, a gun, anything. Don't fix it yourself. Call the fucking police. Call the police. I don't give a shit if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Mexican, Arabian. No fucks given. Call the fucking cops. Because like I said, there are situations where you can't control that. There's some fights you should never get involved in. And like I said, for me, it's fights where if I know the person's got a weapon, I'm not gonna fuck with them. If it's a street fight and I don't know the people, some fights you leave alone. However, that does not mean you still can't. That you, my friends, that does not mean you can't fix it. If you know something is going on, if you know there's like an abuse, if a relationship, if someone's just like really fucking threatening, call the cops. Call the police because that will save their lives. That might save your life. If you get pissed off, calm the fuck down. Like, no shit. For me, I've had to do that where you get real pissed and you have to calm the fuck down because you know if you get involved, you're gonna make things really bad for yourself or worse for the other person. So a lot of times, I'm emotionally charged too, but that's only if I know the circumstances. You know.
Yeah, when someone's about to uh, do some serious bodily harm to you, make sure you keep yourself safe. I don't know what that means for you. Usually means calling the police, but definitely keep yourself safe. Um, uh, but back onto the social anxiety topic. So it seems like there are areas where you actually break yourself out of your social anxiety yourself. So let's start with Paul here. What is it? What subroutines do you run that help you move out of that sphere of like, oh man, self-deprecation? Is this person like even available for this thing? I don't know. You let me know, Paul.
For me, I guess just when I actually like have to talk to someone, like there's like a general need for me to talk to this person. It's like if there's something I have to get done with them, then it's like I kind of need to talk to them. But like,
what if you don't need to talk to them?
if I don't need to talk to them, then it's like talk to them whenever. But it's like I don't know. All this is very situational, you know. It's like, of course, like what Phil was just talking about. Like, there's just certain situations that like just won't tolerate. You know, it's like you won't tolerate bullshit. And, you know, at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you feel is right, and maybe try to fix the problem or whatever. But I don't know. Just it's like unless I feel the need to talk to someone or like feel the need to like be involved, like in a situation where someone needs help, then it's like, you know, to an extent, I'm willing to help, but it's like at the same time, I'm also just like, I kind of just let people solve their own problems because I have my own problems and I'm trying to solve those first before anyone else's.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it's if someone's messing up with whatever it is,
Mhm.
it's not whatever it is. Unless I'm about to take some splash damage or something, it does not concern me at all.
Yeah, it's I know this is getting in slightly to a whole other topic, but it's like I feel like to an extent it's okay to be a little bit selfish, like to an extent. You know, am I making sense here?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. In fact, I think it's important to be completely selfish in sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You said sometimes. I was like, oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Because I mean, it's like you can't be selfish all the time, but it's like there's certain situations and points where it's like sometimes you just have to think about yourself, think about the betterment of your health and yourself, or just whatever situation is that involves you and another person. And if it's not helping you, if it's not healthy, then it's like at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you.
Josh, what was the question you had again?
My question was, dang. Oh yeah. What do you do to break yourself out of that subconscious self-deprecating loop?
I needed you to say it because sometimes my memory slips. Just fucking do it. Like as much, and like I hate saying that because people will tell you the exact same shit, and it's just like, oh yeah, because that's fucking easy for me to do.
Yeah.
But legit, sometimes you just gotta fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like no shit.
Sound like it is, though.
I won't say names, but I asked out a girl, right? But it took me almost till the end of, because we were on overlapping shifts, so her shift was about to end. It was like, fuck, I only have one chance. I tried twice before and chickened out. I was like, I can't keep fucking doing this, and I legit did it fast as hell too. I was like no shit. Hey, do you want to go out with me? And she was like, what? I was like, do you like no shit, this is something I did. I was like, and my heart was like fucking racing. My heart's like this. It's just
that's fast, though.
it's just beating like fast as fuck, and I'm just like, do you want to go out sometime? And I flustered the fuck out of her because I don't think she was expecting that from me, the guy that doesn't really talk ever and is very socially anxious. And I made myself do it. My heart was racing. I was like, I can't keep putting this off because then I'm not gonna do it, and then I'm gonna be pissed off because I didn't do it. So that's another thing. You get pissed off at yourself if you don't do some things. We have 2 minutes left, so I'm gonna try and wrap this up as fast as I can. But certain situations call for you to literally, you have to sack up or pussy up or whatever, or something up.
You know, dig, man.
You have to sack up and just do it. Literally, that's it. You have to just do it, because if you don't, you will be mad at yourself. If you don't, you will sit there being all upset. You'll be angry at yourself because you were too scared to do it. It's like a fear, right? You have to face it. That's social anxiety is somewhat of a fear, you know. Um, it's one of those where it's like, I have to do this, so am I gonna sit here and let the fear overtake me, or am I gonna do something about it and stop acting like a 2-year-old? I have to do something. I have to act like an adult, you know. And we're all 19 right now. There's a point in time where it's like we have to sack up and be adults. And for me, that's because of social anxiety. I make myself think that all the time. It's time to be. It's for me. It's time to be an adult. It's hard. I get it, but sometimes you just have to take the plunge. You have to jump. You have to jump out of that proverbial high chair that you're sitting in, where you think everything is going to go horribly for you, right? Or I guess in this case, low chair, and you have to climb that tree. It's it's weird, but you get what I mean. You have to climb it. There's an obstacle. There's that mountain you have to climb. And you have to make yourself climb it. It's hard. It will always be hard, but you have to do it.
So I guess this is where we do our closing remarks.
Yeah, we'll do closing remarks.
All right. So yeah, there comes a time when you must sack up.
Oh,
yeah.
There comes a time where you have to sack up and do something. You can't allow the fear to overtake you. You have to do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
There you go. Okay, let's end on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, this has been a. You want? Okay.
I would just say, don't forget to follow us on SoundCloud as a Chillphil or Chillfi. Yeah, Chillfi. I'm doing so great right now. Yeah, don't forget to check us out on SoundCloud. You can listen to all these once again if you ever so choose to. And yeah.
And we're also streaming on YouTube.
Yes, YouTube, Instagram. So
YouTube and Instagram.
we got options.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you like that Phil by the not so science guy deep voice? Or guess what? You can listen to it again.
Oh yeah, I'll replay that shit back.
You get to hear this voice again, and you get to be very happy for it because you get to hear this voice again. Okay. All right, everybody. It's been day 3 of the EitherOr podcast. Next week it'll be probably a fun or nerdy topic. What it is, I guess you'll just have to come back and find out. So yeah, this has been the EitherOr podcast day 3, and we will see you guys later.